Welcome back to The Obsessed Marketer, the podcast designed for you, the small business owner looking to jumpstart your business and learn quick marketing strategies that you can take with you to increase your sales, reach, and growth. From the couch in the lobby of Viral Solutions, I'm Andrew Hayes.
And I'm Holland Berkey.
And so we have a very great interview today, Holland.
Yes. Katie
Armotoski.
She's an audiologist. So it's kind of taking marketing from the healthcare perspective, which is very important because there's some extra rules and it's a little bit different. And she's got a lot of really good tips for us. So
she's kind of specialized in marketing for audiology, but it also applies to every single aspect.
It does.
It's a lot of points that we've touched on before here on the podcast, but it's nice to hear from somebody else who's killing it in the game and able to help other people as well and share their knowledge with you.
Yep.
Now, an audiologist, if you don't know, is working with hearing.
Yes.
By the way, just in case you didn't know that. So let's kind of get into our interview then.
Yeah.
All right, today we're joined with a very special guest, an audiologist nonetheless. It's Katie Armotoski. Welcome.
Yeah, thanks. Thanks for having me. So excited to be here.
Yeah.
Again, okay, everybody listening, we did film this already once before and we lost the audio with the audiologist.
Yes.
I think that's kind of funny and ironic.
Yeah,
So-
very ironic.
Yeah, Katie, thank you for coming back again.
Yes.
No problem.
Yeah.
And you just got a new puppy too, is what we heard. So
So if I'm a little tired, a little spacey, it was a long night last night, but we'll push through.
Yeah.
got you.
It'll be worth it.
So we're talking a little bit about marketing as an audiologist and kind of in the healthcare field. Could you talk a little bit about what you do and how you kind of got to where you are?
Yeah, I'm an audiologist, so we fit and prescribe hearing aids. We also diagnose hearing loss and balance disorders. So you went to college for that, got a doctorate, and then I was working at ENT practice. Wanted to spruce up our Facebook page a little bit. So I was posting here and there and I could see what they were paying for. It was a little bit bland, a little bit generic. And then I noticed that somebody was actually posting or getting the same content from the same person only a couple blocks down the street.
Oh.
So I was like, well, this is very, it's not authentic.
Yeah, it's not differentiated at all.
Yeah. So I took a course from dentists because I was following some dentists on Instagram. And I saw, okay, well, if they can do it, why can't audiologists do it? Like they have a lot of engagement, a lot of followers. So I set out to do that. I went down to Chicago, took a course, and kind of understood what it would take to get all of the engagement and make a difference, like actually make it beneficial because I didn't want to waste my time on it. Right?
Yeah.
So that's how I got into marketing for audiologists because what I really liked, soon I found out it took a lot of time. It was a full-time job. So that's kind of how I'm here
That's
today.
really cool. Was it like a social media class that you took or marketing?
Yep, it was. It was actually all about content creation.
Okay.
Jessica Emery is her name. And she has dentists come in from all around the country and they just create a year worth of content there that she
That's
has
cool.
all of the props. She takes your photos for you.
That's nice.
It was so unique. And I even asked her, I'm like, can I please come? I'm not a dentist.
But you're in the healthcare field, so it's close.
Yeah, but I really want to learn. Like, I feel like I can make this work. And she goes, sure. And so the entire weekend I was dubbed the unicorn of the group. So I really
Something here doesn't
The
belong.
non-dentist.
Yeah, the non-dentist.
Wow. That's a smart class because like we're going to get into today, marketing and like social media with healthcare stuff, it's different. You have special rules you have to follow and there's like HIPAA stuff and all that stuff. So you got to like learn how to do it differently. You can't just kind of post whatever you want.
Yeah, very true.
Yeah. So
That's awesome.
Well, let's talk about some of the healthcare marketing problems that you notice. What's going on? Because I know you were mentioning before that somebody else was just repurposing content from somewhere down the street and it wasn't working. So what else is there?
So what I start out, like one of the number one problems, it wasn't authentic at all. So being someone who consumes social media, especially when my kids were younger and I wasn't really going out and had a life. So I was at home and, paging through. And it was easy to engage with. It was unique. And there are a lot of pictures of the providers or pictures of people. They're not stock images, infographics. Like my patients wouldn't interact with an infographic, really. They probably just go right through it. It wasn't entertaining is what it was. And it wasn't real. So that was the biggest thing. I looked everywhere because honestly, I didn't want to do it, but I couldn't find it. And so what I came about, how to fix that one problem, was just answering all the questions that our patients had. So when our patients would come in and I would see them, I'd be like, every time I see a new patient, that's new content right there. They ask a question. Oh, I get that
make
question.
a post out of that.
Yeah, like there's content right there.
Yeah. And maybe if I post it once, somebody else will see it and it'll start to become common knowledge because you can schedule that stuff on a routine. And so that was fun for me to think about as well, as just having these common questions. Just why don't people know this?
Yeah. They're giving you content just for free.
Yeah. So I'd say that was the first step that I made in making content more authentic, that not everyone can do unless you are an audiologist or you are a chiropractor. You see firsthand your customers and you know the questions that they're asking you. So that's just good content right there.
Okay, Katie. So with this healthcare field, what can you post without like violating patient privacy and all these HIPAA stuff?
Yeah, that one was probably my biggest setback before I started doing this, because it is a whole different field of social media.
And legality in there too.
Yeah.
So
yeah. So when someone asks me a question, all I use is the question. I don't say, hey, I had so-and-so here today. Even if you say, give an idea of their age, or their problem. And if you say it was that day, people can sometimes figure things out that way. At least I was taught that.
Yeah.
And
I mean, somebody can figure out a lot in just a little bit too, if they really try hard.
You kind of think about who would do that, but it's possible. So you don't want to cross into that.
Exactly.
Like you want to avoid, like, I doubt somebody would do that much like snooping, but if it's possible, you want to avoid that.
Exactly. 100%. They already inadvertently know the location you're at. So they know that this patient, so I always either totally make something up. Not like, so I use the question, but I frame it in a way that it wasn't asked that day, or
it's more generic.
It's
or like
more
client specific of like a certain problem. Yeah.
The other one, the Google reviews. So if that's a Google review, it depends upon the practice and what their privacy form is when they come. But most of our practices have something that say that if it's a Google review, it's already pretty public, right?
Yeah.
They already have their name on there.
Yeah.
They wrote it themselves. So I still, on the caution of it, I always just use initials.
Okay.
And I see a lot of practices doing that as well. They'll just use the initials unless they specifically asked for that content from them or that review. And they said this will be used for marketing purposes, like on a separate sheet. So that would be my other tip, is always use that. But if you have caution. Then just don't even use. Yeah. Use a different. So I have one practice that uses just a different photo too. So when you make those images in Canva for the reviews, there's sometimes like a spot for the photo. Just find someone else's photo and put it in there. So
a little stock image.
Yeah. I mean, it doesn't
don't use a photo. Yeah. There's ways to get around it.
Yeah. Okay. So you already kind of talked about this earlier, right? You kind of gave one of your tips of how to kind of market in a healthcare field, right? You were talking about just answering common questions, that people are asking, because then they're basically kind of just handing over the content to you. What other tips do you have that you could give to someone marketing in healthcare?
I would also, for just being more unique content, is just think of the simple things that you already celebrate in your practice. So a lot of us already do birthdays, or if any patient not patient appreciation, but employee appreciation.
There we go.
Sorry. So a lot of people are doing that more, like posting what they did for employee appreciation. Just letting the viewer look at your culture as a practice.
Be personable as like a brand, as an organization.
Yeah. Yeah. So
I would be more willing to go to it because doctors and healthcare stuff can be scary for people.
Yeah.
And and with audiology too, a lot of people are in denial. They're like, I'm not losing my, so they need to feel comfortable in all facets to be able to go and do this. So, and you can do that on social media, so easily.
100%.
Humanize.
Yes. That's exactly, I love that word, humanize it. Because believe it or not, a lot of people in my profession don't think that, they just assume that our age group is in the 60s to 80s, but really we're diagnosing hearing loss much earlier than that. So there's a younger crowd following you, no matter what you think. You think you have in your mind who your followers are or who is actually consuming your content on social media. But they're a lot younger than you think. Mm-hmm. So,
how often do you look at the data for that?
How often do I? I can't say I look very often. I feel like as you're in practicing, you get a feel for it, and we are seeing younger and younger people being diagnosed, and I think part of that too is because the stigma of hearing aids and hearing loss is now lessening. So you see people walking around with earbuds in their ears, and now hearing aids in the ear ones even look like earbuds. So I guess I don't know your answer off the top of my head. I can't pull off the statistic, but it is getting younger. We're diagnosing more and more.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, especially I see a lot of content recently about wearing earplugs at concerts, especially.
I do.
With how bad that is.
Even
my watch will, send me something being like, oh,
the decibels are too loud. Be careful.
Yeah, my dog will bark and it'll be like, that's too loud. I'm like, okay.
What am I supposed to do?
Okay, but anyway, back on the topic. So you're saying to kind of be humanizing and show your culture.
Genuine posts.
Of your practice, right? Yeah. So what other tips do you have?
Well, okay, we mentioned birthdays, anything that's going around in employee-wise, sharing that, because that also helps boost the algorithm, right? Mm-hmm. Another thing is, this is, I think, one of my tips that we're going to say later, but I'll say it now, but community posts. So finding other small businesses that you already either have partnered with or even coffee shops that you regularly frequent, you go to frequently. Those types of posts do really well because, again, the number one goal should be to reach more followers locally. And then you can do that.
So getting out in the community, what are some examples of that? Or what could someone in the healthcare marketing field or wherever it is go out and start doing?
So one thing that has worked really well for the audiology field and the dental field was they get little $25 gift cards from places in the community, small businesses in the community. And they do just a Facebook post that says you have to like this, share this, like our page, share it, and comment below, right? To boost your algorithm, boost the engagement. You would not believe how many people will do this for $25 gift card. I thought, okay.
I'll do it. On Instagram, I'm doing every giveaway. Yeah. I'm tagging 8 of my friends. Yep. Sadly, I've never won anything. I've never won anything, but I still try.
It's entertaining, right?
Yeah.
People want to be entertained. Why not?
What's the harm?
Yeah.
It's 3 clicks you can enter in. So
exactly. So there again, pick small businesses, pizzerias, coffee shops, any floral shops. Keep your patients in mind. So where do my patients frequently go? That's a big one.
A target audience. Think about them at all points in this.
They're the ones that are going to want the gift card the most and probably engage with the post the most. So yeah, that works really well. There's different ways to pick winners. You can just randomly pick it, or there's random generators online that you can pick someone. So yes, that has worked really well.
So that's an example of a giveaway. So then what's, I know, you were talking earlier with me about going down to Waterfest in Oshkosh, which is kind of a big local music festival where they bring a bunch of people. You guys were handing out earplugs?
Yeah. So we have a lot of earplugs. We buy them in bulk. That's another way to get our name out there and just be in the community and talking about preventative measures for hearing loss. And we have been asked that before. So the people who worked there were asking for the earplugs because, so again, it's something that your customers want and that people are asking for. So something like a simple post of you, I mean, we've all see it, but you have to actually think about doing it while you're there. That's my problem is I'll go and do it. And then at the after, I'll be like, oh,
I didn't get a photo.
How am I supposed to show this off?
Yeah.
Yeah. And it just, again, before your patient makes that appointment, if they are on social media, like, oh, no way. They're also giving their time to the community.
And if you think about it too, like not only are you giving back to the community, but you're also teaching them too at a place where they wouldn't think about learning about hearing loss. Right.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. For sure. Yeah. There's a lot of different things you can do, and you probably are already doing them. You just have to think about sharing it.
Exactly. Yeah. You're doing so many probably pieces of content without realizing it. Just take a photo of it, put it on there, get your name out there.
Now, how often do you think that someone should like do a giveaway or something on their social media pages then?
That's a good question because you don't want to feel spammy.
We're giving away a $25 gift card every day.
All day. So one thing healthcare practices have to think about is depending upon your state, what your allowable, givable, how much you can give based on Medicare. So if you participate in Medicare, you can only give certain amounts. So there's a lot of legal things that you'd have to check depending upon your state and what type of practice you're in.
Okay.
And then so that's where I would start first.
Yeah.
Like off the top of my head, I wouldn't do more than 2 because the ones that I'm thinking about are like 5, 6, 7 days long.
Okay.
So
yeah.
$25 a day.
Oh, okay.
Or like 5 days.
Okay.
Yeah, that adds up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So when we did it was Christmas. So it was like a holiday around Thanksgiving, Christmas time. But then I had someone also do it in the spring. So that was more like florals, pizza, bakery.
Yeah.
You just make it your own, like a summer giveaway.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's some really good advice. Let's just close this out here. And if somebody out there is wanting to start kind of marketing their healthcare, business, what is one thing that they could do right now coming out of this podcast to start doing?
Go take a picture of yourself. Say hi. Introduce yourself. It's surprising how many times I have to tell practices just introduce yourself and don't just go to your about page on your website and copy that. Like that's boring. Or unless you have somebody who did your website like awesome and they took the time to write a fun one.
Yeah.
I would definitely do that. Take a selfie, or if you're not comfortable with that, get the photo off your website and introduce yourself. And sometimes people introduce themselves every 2 months, every 3 months, just to refresh new followers. That's the first thing I would do.
I love that.
Yeah.
I think that's really cool for like a healthcare too. Cause like I said before, some people are afraid of going to the doctor and stuff like that. So if you come off like personal, be like, hey, like I'm not some scary person in a white coat. Yeah. Like that's going to traumatize you. Like, this is me. This is my name.
Like when you're
These are my
kid.
hobbies. Like
I'm still scared to go to the dentist.
Yeah. So like being personable, like giving a warm environment. And that's so easy to do on social media because people are already looking for personable content and genuine content.
For sure.
I love that. Just take a selfie, introduce yourself.
Yeah. Get out there. It's kind of like when you're a kid and you see your teacher out in public for the first time.
Yeah.
And you're like, what? They have a life and they're normal.
You don't live at school? What?
That's how patients think of us. Mm-hmm. I think like they just think that we're all our photos on your website are white coats, professional, like relax a little and like show who you really are when you walk into the room. Because when I walk into the room with my patients, I'm more personable. We talk about what's going on. Like we'd be talking about my dog, kids. I've been seeing them for years. So yeah, it's just interact with people online as if you do in the office.
Love that.
Now, did you post about that new puppy yet?
I did not.
Nah. You gotta take a picture with the puppy.
I have been too tired.
We'll wait for it. We'll wait for it.
Sounds good.
Hopefully it'll be up by the time this show goes up. But Katie, thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you.
Moral of the story, I guess, is just to be human, be yourself.
Yes,
and
for sure.
connect with the people that you're serving.
Yes. Yeah. Yes, you'll be amazed at how just doing that first post and getting out there on social media, I don't want to make it sound like you be full of yourself, but there are people out there who really do want to connect with you in that way, and they'll boost you up. So you'll get the positive feedback you're looking for, and it'll boost your confidence to post more. So just do it.
Katie, where can they find some of your stuff if they want to check you out or anything like that?
Yeah, my website is ascendingaudiologist.com. It's a long one. But
We'll put it in the show notes.
Yes. Yeah.
So I only help audiologists because that's all I really know and really know well. So,
But again, all this advice kind of goes towards anybody in the healthcare field, or I mean,
100%.
anyone marketing in general.
Yeah, marketing in general, for sure.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. Well, Katie, thank you so much.
Thanks for having me.
All right, Holland, there we go.
That was our interview. It was great.
Yeah, so Katie really touched on a lot of good things here that mostly kind of related to being yourself and being human.
Being genuine and getting involved in the community that you're in.
Yeah.
Super important on social media. That's a big thing in social media.
Well, that's the thing. A lot of people, we can tell authenticity and not authentic.
Yes.
Right? And that's
it's
why
pretty easy to see when someone's faking it.
static, stale graphics don't work because who is... you can't tell who's making that. It's not in anybody's certain
it's not
voice.
Personable at all.
Yeah.
I loved her little tip at the end that any of you guys out there right now, what you can take away after you click this podcast off, and that's maybe just take a selfie and introduce yourself on social media. I love that. I think that's so smart. And even she said you can do it like a couple times, like every 3 months, every 4 months, do it. I think that's super cool.
It kind of makes me think I want to do that.
I know, right? Me too.
I just want to be like, who am I?
Reinvent yourself.
Got to think about it. Well, anyway, if you want to check out Katie and what she does, we have a link in the show notes as well. And if you have any questions about healthcare marketing or anything in that sense, you can reach out to us, Viral Solutions. We can even reach back out to Katie, maybe even have her on another episode. So drop us your comments at viralsolutions.net. Hit that little chat bubble at the bottom. And then also, if you are wanting to get a little bit of help with your marketing, Holland, what can they do?
They can go over to viralsolutions.net. We have a free 50-point marketing audit where we look at top to bottom your marketing, pretty much your business. On our website, there is a button at the top that says free 50-point marketing audit. So you can just click that and we'll take a look and tell you what you're doing great and what maybe you could be doing a little better at.
Yes. That's all for free at viralsolutions.net. All right, let's get out of here, Holland. My name's Andrew Hayes.
And I'm Holland Berkey.
And we'll see you next week.